After 7 years in the NFL, the phrase mismatch has been commonly used to describe Jimmy Graham. While he doesn't have a sick crossover move like Jordan Reed, he is a true zone-beating tight end with the ability to use his size and body to box out defenders. His value comes from his intelligence and his vision to naturally find openings in the center of defenses. After tracking every target from his 2016 season, there were a few conclusions I came up with. The main one is that Graham is an absolute monster on seam routes. Around the third week of the season, Graham and Russell Wilson started to connect for big gains. Versus San Francisco, he caught 3 seam routes attacking the center of their defense. In the second quarter, the 49ers are in cover 1, playing man coverage across the board. Ahmad Brooks was caught off sides, which gave Wilson the free play to make this throw down the field. He launched the pass, and Graham somehow snagged this ball out of the air. His ability to sit and find these creases for Wilson makes him a mismatch over the middle of the field. Versus the Cardinals, Graham lines up in a 3-point stance off the left side of the formation. For roughly half of his targets, this is where he stood attached to the formation. The other half of the time, he stood in the slot in a 2-point stance, typically in a tight split. Both of these alignments defined his role and allowed him to easily get into the heart of the defense. After the snap, Doug Baldwin used his quickness to bait 2 defenders in coverage, allowing Jimmy Graham to get open. As soon as he cleared the first level linebackers, he turned back towards the quarterback expecting the ball. Wilson makes an awkward leaning throw, but is still able to make the pass. Graham leaps and is able to grab the ball before bouncing his way for the long touchdown. In Week 9, Graham lines up off the right hash marks and attacks the center of Buffalo's defense. The Bills are in cover 2 zone, where Tyler Lockett forces the deep right safety into setting his landmark too far outside of Graham's path. Roby Coleman has inside leverage, but since Wilson's pass is placed inside, this forces Graham to make a spectacular catch using his right arm to grab the ball for the touchdown. Looking at this play, this is just incredible concentration. How he can track this pass with the defender draped over his body is beyond insane. The crazy thing is that he did it multiple times this season. This time, Graham ran a wheel to the back of the end zone, and the result is exactly the same. He somehow, once again, manages to bring this pass down for another one-arm grab. Versus the vast majority of linebackers and defensive backs, Graham has a size or speed advantage. Really, only against very skilled safeties do defenses have a chance to stop him. One of those safeties was DJ Swearinger, who played for the Cardinals last season. In Week 16, Graham ran a shallow cross right in front of Russell Wilson. Swearinger caught up to Graham and used his length in order to tip the ball and make sure he did not make the catch. In general, the Seahawks loved using Graham as an underneath option for Wilson. He ran a high portion of hitches and quick spot routes sitting in the zones between linebackers. His ability to find these openings is easily one of his best traits. In this case, if the pass rush is coming, Wilson would find and trust him to box out defenders and use his strength to gain more yards. Here's a play from Week 2 where he did just that. In addition to him being the underneath option, he was also used as a chip and release receiver. Versus the Bills, he shoved the linebacker out of the play before he released into the flat. This is a design misdirection to get Graham open if his defender takes too long in recognizing the play. This is what happens here before Graham completely hurdles over a defender and turns a quick pass into a big gain. As a receiver, his use of his size and body to box out defenders is commonly known. But one thing about his game is not really talked about. That is his ability as a run blocker. Many people believe that he's just a receiver and offers nothing in the run game. And honestly, I truthfully thought that myself until I really started looking at the tape. I mean, you look at plays like this in Week 17, where Graham somehow was able to keep both feet in bounds on a 42-yard catch while boxing out a defender. It's goddamn ridiculous, and you don't want to believe he's actually a well-rounded player. But I have to say, while that receiver-only designation is certainly true of guys like Jordan Reed and Greg Olsen, this is not the case for Jimmy Graham. In my opinion, he is at the very least an average run blocker. Now, he's not Anthony Fasano or Tyler Eifert, but when he gets his hands on a defender and keeps his pad level low like he does here versus the Panthers, he can create leverage. Looking at the tape, the majority of his blocking errors comes from simply playing too high or not sustaining his blocks. If he can get low and get his hands on the defender, he could easily be a top-tier tight end based on his size alone. Overall, Graham offers a lot to the Seahawks offense. While he'll never get the numbers and simply targets that he received while in New Orleans, as a zone-beating tight end, his skill set should allow him to stay in the NFL for at least a couple more years. From a fantasy perspective, his usage will still be inconsistent based on how much the team desires to run the football. I have him graded somewhere in the 6th round in your standard league, mainly due to the fact that Seahawks want to run the ball more and they have Doug Baldwin as their main target. Well, that's it for this video. Next up is Anquan Boldin. I want to look at his season with the Detroit Lions and see if another team should give him one last shot to end his career. If you have any requests or suggestions, follow the link to my Patreon account and let me know who you want me to break down. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at SammyRGold for my latest updates.